Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me, the AEGIS Hammerhead. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, welcome back to another review, and I just have to say thank you to everybody that joined me today, manning the turrets, making the ship look beautiful, occupying the hallways, and having a great time. It was a ton of fun. I really do appreciate the support from every single one of you, my viewers, my subscribers, my members. You guys are all amazing, so thank you. This ship here is the EVLE Umbraxis by Zero Grav. He has let me use this ship for today's review, as I didn't have it in my hangar at the time, so thank you again, Zero Grav, for that. Now let's go ahead and take a look here at the AEGIS Hammerhead. This ship, if you were to buy it on the pledge store, is $725, or if you buy it in game, it is $47,958,752 aUEC, purchasable in the city of Lorville on Hurston. Now, if you get taken out of the air for some reason, or out of space, after a complete battering of this ship and you end up having to leave, you can claim it. It takes 48 minutes and 36 seconds to claim that ship, or if you expedite it, it is 16 minutes and 12 seconds. For what this ship can do, especially now in the verse in 4.2, it's a lot more capable against fighters. Is it still right where it should be? Maybe not, but I'm going to take a look and we're going to see what I think of the ship, of course. Now, the pilot doesn't have control over any of these guns, so there's no pilot damage per second, which is totally fine. They do have, though, 32 size 3 missiles. You have 16 size 3 Arrestor 3s and 16 size 3 Viper 3s, which is truly just a fantastic amount of missiles for what the ship is. And then you have 6 manned turrets. That's right, there is 2 on each side, 1 on the bottom, 1 on top, adding up to 6 of them with 24 size 4 CF447 Rhinos, outputting a total of 19,632 burst DPS. That is a fantastic amount of damage per second for a ship like this. And this ship is typically, something you would use to just dominate an airspace, right? Or space. You use this thing to keep fighters off of your bigger ships. You're escorting another ship and you're keeping the fighters at bay, because the amount of guns on here, it just does so much to, fighters out there trying to attack you or your fleet. It just really helps support them, and it's such a fantastic tool to be used in that instance. A lot better now than it used to be, so it is getting better and better as time goes on. Now, you do have 2 size 3 shield generators, outputting a total of 126,800 quadrant shield, which I think is a great amount given this ship's size. Do I think it could be more? Yeah, potentially, but this is an escort ship. It's not a capital ship. I don't even really call it a sub-capital ship. It's just an escort vessel with a lot of firepower on those manned turrets, which, that tells you right there, you have to kind of have a crew to fly this ship right now, or we have to wait until we have NPC crews, because that's really the only way you're going to get the best out of this ship. Only having 1 or 2 turret gunners, it's somewhat fun, but honestly, you get the best out of it when you have all those guns occupied, and it's a pretty great time. Now, you do have 295,600 ship HP. Someday, all the ship HP stuff will just go away, and it'll be more about the armor and, the strength of your components and everything like that. But as of right now, 295,000 ship HP is honestly fantastic, and I can't get over that amount. It's a great amount of HP. It allows you to stay in the air for a while, even if you're getting battered by multiple ships, and you just have all-around coverage coverage on this thing with those turrets on each side of the vessel, which is fantastic. In knowing a fighter, they don't just sit still, right? They're constantly moving around your ship, which means your guns will all have a chance to fire down on them, which is fantastic. Now, this ship does have a top speed of 160 SCM with a 320 forward boost, a 170 backwards boost, and a 950 nav speed with a pitch yaw roll of 20, 18, 30, boosted 30, 27, 60. I will say right now, that actually felt really good in battle. It did not feel nearly as weighty as a Polaris, obviously. It's not as big as a Polaris, which is good. And it just felt great when we were rotating around players that were attacking us or PvE targets. It just felt like you were able to stay on target with your turrets really pretty much all the time, which is just a fantastic feeling when you're flying something like this. Now, there are flight blades for this ship. They've been added recently, and now they're coming to us with 4.2 just around the corner here. Allowing you to purchase these flight blades in game or find them on the loot table, which there's one here, the Hammerhead B, that gives you a updated pitch yaw roll of 21, 19, 31 with a top speed of 155, 315 forward boost, 165 backwards boost, and a 940 nav speed. So you lose a little bit of your speed, but you gain a little bit more of your maneuverability, which is nice. And then your Hammerhead TSB flight blade is 19, 17, 29 on your pitch yaw roll with a top speed of 165 or 325 forward boost, 175 backwards boost, 955 nav. I honestly feel like in a ship like this, speed is probably better than maneuverability because you do have all your angles covered with those turrets. So I would prefer a little bit more speed than maneuverability personally, but maneuverability does definitely come in helping hand, right? So that's nice as well. Now, moving on, you do have only 50 countermeasures, 50 flares and 24 noise. Now, that might be a size 2 flare noise situation, but still, with this type of ship, I feel like it should be more than that. You should probably have closer to 80 to 100, if not more than that, because this is a military escorting style vessel. You should have flares that should last you the entire duration of any sort of escort. Now, you also have 450 hydrogen fuel, SCU of course, and then 6.6 SCU of quantum fuel, which is honestly a pretty decent amount. You're able to go quite a ways without having to stop and refuel. And you're all laser packaged, so you don't even need to stop to rearm except for those missiles if you end up firing off all those missiles. Now, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the interior, show you everything here. And when I say quick, that's kind of hard to do. But first of all, you do have 3 separate entrances on the ground for this ship. 2 of them are elevators. You got one here, one over here, and then you have a cargo bay at the back, which can actually fit anything from a Nursa to a Rock to, these smaller ground vehicles, which is nice. Only one of them, though. And that cargo bay, that cargo bay can carry up to 40 SCU of cargo, which is nice as well. So you have the cargo on there. You're not going to be occupying it with any sort of, ground vehicle or whatnot. We'll go ahead and take this elevator right here up to the top. And no, we won't. I hit the button too many times, so that didn't work out to me. So hit it once. If you hit it twice and you hit the go down thing, it'll, reimagine itself back up top and come back down. So let's go ahead and make our way through the ship. We'll start at the very front of the ship. This right here is another entrance. This is an EVA entrance right here. So when you come in here and you dock this ship, you can definitely dock it to a station, and this is where it would do that. The very front of the Hammerhead is a docking port, and that's where you would go ahead and dock the ship. And in this area, you do have 1, 2, 3, 4 suit lockers, which is pretty nice. And then over here to your right there, and to your left is the turret access points for the front turrets. Now, like I said, here's your docking crawler with the airlock, and then right there is one turret and another turret right there. Straight ahead, this will lead you to the bridge. You could either take the elevator or you could take the ladder. We'll go ahead and call up the elevator. There's a nice fire extinguisher right next to this button. Nothing like jamming your finger into that when you're trying to reach for the elevator button, right? But we'll go ahead and take this down really quick and take a look at the bridge here. As you can see, this is the bridge of the Hammerhead, where you can go ahead and relax on their beautiful view with the ocean, or you can go ahead and occupy the pilot seat, the co-pilot seat, the window, or there's plenty of areas that you can occupy in this nice bridge here. And of course, it feels very RSI just because you have struts all over the place, but it is an Aegis ship, so it's very heavy, very industrial, very very powerful feeling. Let's go ahead and make our way back up to the top here, and we'll take a look at the next area. Now, if you were to go down one of these hallways on one side or the other, they're kind of replicated in a way. This just leads you throughout the ship. So right here is one of your ground entrances. As you can see, that is replicated on the other side. And then you continue down the hallway here. You know, one thing you're really going to notice with this ship, just like with the Aegis, is you do have much better signage than something like the Polaris. So if you look up bridge, cargo engineer room, you know, engine room, all these kind of signage is here. It's not as much on the ground as something like the Polaris or the Idris. It's all up above you, which is pretty nice. Now, to your left is another one of your turret access points and also your escape pods. You have 4 of them right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another turret access point on the side of the ship there, as well as it's replicated right on the other side with another 4 escape pods, allowing your crew to hopefully get out of the ship safely in an emergency situation. Now, we're going to go ahead and make our way all the way to the back first before we look throughout. Now, there are certain rooms here on the side that would be for components, like you have components here on the walls, and then if you make your way into these rooms, there will be components that would be housed here and here, engineering terminal, all sorts of different terminals and stuff, probably where you're going to have some fuses and stuff in the future as well. You do have your fire extinguisher, which is nice. And then if we make our way continuing to the back, here is the crew quarter. Like I said, we'll take a look at that when we come back through. But first, we'll make our way all the way to the back. Here is your engineering bay with a cargo access point. Now, this cargo access point is where you're going to store the 40 SCU of cargo or a ground vehicle, which is pretty nice. And then you have your engineer working on the engines here, which looks great. Also looks like a complete radiation hazard, but I do like the effects somewhat. I feel like I'm in like some tundra or something, like just freezing cold back here, or I'm getting poisoned by some sort of radiation. And then you over here have the tail, the tail turret, which puts you at the most awkward angle. I will show you the POV for this one here really quick. I wish the seat would just go down and you would just be in that turret like that, but instead you're upside down and it could be very disorienting and kind of, you know, make you feel a little sick sometimes. But this would be your view here. Oh, look how beautiful that looks out this window right now. What a gorgeous looking view. Bloom is just fantastic. Always such great views here. So we'll go ahead and make our way out of this turret really quick and make our way through the rest of the ship. Now, there is 2 levels to this ship, so something to keep an eye out for. Technically, 3 levels if you're counting the bridge, right? But let's go ahead and walk back through here. You got another engineer here working on some stuff on the engines. Looks good. And then right here is an elevator that would take you up to that 2nd level, taking you to another engineering station above this engine room, which we'll take a look at here shortly. But first, we're going to go to this side, check out the crew quarters. So when you make your way in here, you do have a bunch of beds for your crew, allowing you to store and do things. And then each bed does actually have a storage locker too, so you can press F and open that up, which is pretty nice. And of course, you know, you got to tuck in the weapons that are most important to you, right? And then over here, you do have a nice doorway that leads to a restroom. You can go ahead and take care of business, a nice mirror, nice bathroom, take care of some things. And then if you go to the other side, that is like there's some graphical bugs too. Some graphical bugs in the barracks area, which is honestly too bad, but it's only far and few, which is good. But you walk through this door and then you have 2 showers. So only 2 showers, only 2 toilets. There's going to have to be some people that just take some turns, right? Which is honestly too bad, but you just got limited space in these things, right? Making our way through, you have another door that leads you to another component area, kind of replicated on the other side, of course, radar, life support, and then we're here. We're here at the turrets where I was kind of at just a little while ago going, hey, across there is another turret. So we'll make our way to this next step. Right here is your top turret. If you were to go ahead and walk in there and go up, it goes to the top turret, which is nice. And then right here is the captain's quarters on the same floor as the crew quarters. So you make your way in, you have a nice area for your captain to sit down, eat some ice cream, have a great time. And then you have a nice bedroom here, a nice bathroom, everything for the captain. Hey, another toilet, another shower, right? Just don't let the crew find out. And then you do have storage access points right here as well on the walls, which is pretty nice. So let's go ahead and make our way to the 2nd floor, which would be this elevator here or the elevator back in the engine room, which I showed you prior. So I'm going to go ahead and call this elevator. It's going to come on down very nicely. Has a nice little, you know, protective guardrail around it, which is nice. And we'll go ahead and go right on up. All right, so we made our way to the 2nd floor here on the Hammerhead. So when you first walk in, you do have some component areas, shield generator. It even has some markings on the ground usually when there's going to be some sort of component because a door will open. Another one right behind it, and then you have another crew area. This crew area here is the kitchen, where you're going to be making some food, you know, eating, having a great laugh, watching some TV, having a great time, and you have plenty of space for your kitchen utensils, all your food making, and then right over here you do have a nice pantry that you can go ahead and store a lot of your food for those really long hauls, those very long patrol missions. This is pretty nice to have this area, as well as a fire extinguisher here. These things are littered all around the area, which is quite nice. So just made himself a sandwich and ate that all in one go. Very impressive, very impressive. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Now we'll go ahead and make our way through the back here. This is, of course, more areas that you can open and close for radar, for other components, another shield generator there. And then if you make your way through this last door, this is that engineering room that should have a clear glass to see the engines down there. But as of right now, we have it in privacy mode because we just don't know what's going on in there. And it's best to just keep it private. Then maybe they're working on the next fusion engine or something. I don't know. But we'll go ahead and make our way to the front of the ship here. That is it for the interior review. Let's go ahead and take a look at some combat footage showing you this thing in action, including the fact that when we first jumped down and sat here for the interior review, we got attacked by players, and we ended up winning that fight. Multiple fighters. I think one of them jumped away, but another one was taken out of the sky. Was pretty awesome to witness that. But let's go ahead and take a look, and then you'll get my final score. As you can see, this ship really has no issues taking care of any big targets, small targets. It's just fun to fly, especially when you have the guns occupied. What a fantastic time. It's definitely gotten better over the past few patches, which has made it much more fun. Overall, this ship for me is a 94 out of 100 because it has great turret firepower. It doesn't have to have pilot DPS just because they do have a ton of missiles, and it's just fun to multi-crew a ship like this and just rain fire all over everything, and it's such a fantastic time. The only real negative points is the speed's a little bit slow, and then your countermeasures. Of course, size 2 or not, you should definitely have more. This is a combat patrol vessel and should be, you should probably have more countermeasures than you do weapons on this thing, right? Like firepower capacitor-wise, 300 shots per gun, which is really awesome, by the way, 300 shots per barrel, and then you only have like 50 countermeasures. That's too bad. You should have probably about 500 countermeasures on this ship, just because it's a patrol vessel that's supposed to go with other ships and keep them safe. How do you keep another ship safe if you can't even keep yourself safe, right? But that is the Aegis Hammerhead. Let me know what you think of this ship down in the comments below. What do you think of it? Do you think it's fun to be a part of the crew in this ship? I think it's a ton of fun. It is a great time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. You all are truly amazing, and I'll see you all in the next one.